Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark. And it's a very special edition of our, I guess I can say weekly show. We've missed a week or two, haven't we, Randy? But we are, I'm joined, of course, as usual, by Randy Ray from the Literate Texan. But our special guest today
Hello.
is the wonderful Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Mark and Randy. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm your first female guest.
I think
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a milestone.
It just shows you're one brave female, because if you haven't watched the show before and you've heard a lot of what Randy has to say, then you might not have agreed to come on. So
No, I did actually. I did watch. I watched part of your very first one, where like, is it luck or kind of thing, and then I watched part of the one that you did last week with Greg. So
I don't know. It seems a bit freezing from time to time, and I can't work out whether it's the same for you guys or whether it's just for me. Because again, as Randy would remember, a couple of weeks ago I had a storm, and we seem to have another one. So if things go, you know the reason. But unfortunately, because I'm in the mountains, it can get quite windy. So it did cut out there. But sometimes I've noticed it's cut out in the live, but when it's actually uploaded to YouTube, it sometimes it's okay, or the reverse can also be true, like what happened with James last week. We had a few quality issues, or 2 weeks ago. But anyway, Kelly, because I want to encourage people to head over and check out your channel, would you mind giving us a brief kind of introduction to your YouTube channel, and how long you've been on YouTube and what kind of stuff you talk about?
So I joined YouTube, or well, I guess YouTube and BookTube in 2018, and so I've been here for a while. I try to have. My ideal is 3 videos a week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. Probably like one of the things people know my channel for is Friday Reads. There's a really steady group of people who show up every Friday. And those are such easy videos to make. I feel a little guilty about it, but yeah, so I do a lot of book reviews, which I hope we'll talk about. And I tend not to read anything or very little that's contemporary. I do read, I've read all the books that have won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction, or as it was previously known, the Pulitzer Prize for the novel. So every year I try to get my hands on a copy of that particular book, and do a review of it. And then I've gone back and reread some of the books I read because I wasn't on BookTube when I was doing what I call the Pulitzer Project. So, but yeah, so it's a lot of backlists, a lot of older stuff that I review. I also really enjoy kind of books about the West, the Virginian, Native American literature, that kind of thing. So
okay, cool. And
yeah.
how did you come up with the name of your channel? Books I'm Not Reading.
So I was unemployed, and I was unemployed with one of my friends. So we spent a lot of time together. Anyway, she kept saying that we should start a podcast and call it Books I'm Not Reading, because lots of times we would talk about books that we really wanted to read, but we never got to those books. And so yeah, it is a little bit confusing. Anyway, she ended up I kept telling her, like, I'm ready, like, let's start the podcast, like, let's do it, but I didn't know the first thing about starting a podcast. I actually still don't really feel like I know how you would start a podcast, but anyway, so yeah, and then she moved away. So I was like, All right. Well, I'm stealing the name. It is, like I said, it is a bit confusing. People are like, why is your channel called this? So, anyway.
It's interesting you mentioned the podcast thing because it was actually my route into starting a BookTube channel because it was the first wave of COVID and I hadn't really thought about doing videos then. And I did start a podcast. So I started a podcast called Tea Time with Elvis. And I think the first couple of episodes I was solo, and then I started inviting guests in, people I thought were interesting that I knew, personally throughout my life and stuff. And it was really good. I think I've got about 7 or 8 episodes out there. They're still out there on Spotify or whatever. And, people generally have been pretty positive about them and said probably I shouldn't have given it up. I mean, maybe I've got a face for podcasting more than YouTubing. I don't know. But but it was great. And then, of course, when we had the lockdown and the schools were closed, I started to make YouTube videos for the kids, for the work they had to do and things like that. And I thought, this is really good. And I kind of enjoy it a little bit more than the podcasting because I felt maybe the interaction was better because you could kind of see me and I could talk to you. And so then I decided to move on with Book Time with Elvis as opposed to Tea Time with Elvis. So, but we have a few comments, so I'll go to those. We've got quite a few people in actually, which is 17.
I have a comment too.
17 or 20 at the beginning. So go on, Randy, give us your comment, and then I'll go through the comments.
Well, I just want to say about Kelly's channel, it is marvelous. If you want to be somebody, subscribe to Books I'm Not Reading. Since I started subscribing to Books I'm Not Reading, this is true. Since I and I can't guarantee these will be the results that you see, but since I started subscribing to Books I'm Not Reading and watching Fridays, I've lost 200 pounds. My cancer's gone into remission, but I have not grown my hair back. I'm still going bald and it's still going gray, but lots of good things have happened to me since I started watching Kelly's channel. And I don't know if Kelly notices this or not, but I try to be the first commenter every Friday when she posts her video. But she told me it's not a contest and I should stop that. She told me it's not a contest and I should stop that. Anyway, that's my comment. Subscribe to Kelly's channel.
Oh, thank you so much.
It will change your life.
That's very kind.
Definitely. So Bernard's here. Hello. Nice to see you.
Hey,
Helen's here as well. Bonjour. She says 5 p.m. and dark in the UK. The clocks have gone back. Well, it's 6 p.m. and dark here in the Czech Republic as well, Helen. And it was dark at 5 too. So, because I forgot about it, of course, it gets darker. So it was quite horrible because normally when I take Elvis out after dinner, it's still light. And of course, now it isn't. So we might have to make some adjustments. Michelle's here. Hi, good to see you.
Hey, Michelle.
Kelly, you sound so interesting. Yes, she does.
Wow.
Yes, she does.
Thank you.
Books I'm Not Reading is a great channel name. Read Write Collage. That's a cool name. Hi, everyone.
That's Loretta. Hi, Loretta.
Yeah, I did notice I got a few new subscribers today, and it made me wonder whether they were probably your subscribers who wanted to watch you in the live, because I have it set to subscriber mode to avoid any, horrible people. So I wonder if they joined so they could watch and comment. So nice to meet you anyway. Loretta, did you say?
Yes, it's Loretta.
Hi, Loretta. Hannah's here. Hello. Wonderful to see you.
Hey, Hannah, welcome back.
Hannah.
I was just watching your video earlier.
Lou's here. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Bookless Pete is here as well. I think Bookless Pete is going live tomorrow night, if I remember rightly. I saw something on YouTube today that he's on Greg and Alan's Monday night show. So
a show not to be missed.
Show not to be missed. And Game of Authors is here. Hello.
Oh, hey.
So there we have it. We have a few people. Of course, Kelly's here to answer all your questions, everybody. So do feel free to...
That's right.
Within reason.
I have all the answers.
So yeah, but I mean, so you've been on since 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, what is that? 7 years.
Golly, a long
Still
time.
still enjoying it?
Yeah, I am enjoying it still, and things have changed. Things have changed quite a bit since I started on BookTube. So that's interesting to think about. I mean, when I started, there weren't tons. I mean, I don't really remember early on like all of these live streams that people are doing and Zoom chats and that sort of thing. So there wasn't very much of that. There also weren't as many men on BookTube when I started. So that has been really interesting to see this kind of group of men come into the community, and I don't know. I sometimes I feel like there's like this kind of guys club. So I'm happy to like break into that.
Well, it's not in our case, it's not by choice. It's not by choice in our case, Kelly. It's just you've been the only female
What?
who's
I'm sorry,
been
Mark?
interested to come on. So did you hear me? Sorry.
We actually have an episode coming up with Book Chat with Pat too. So
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. Oh,
we are not
she's
intentionally
wonderful.
discriminating.
No, not at all. Not at all. Any female is welcome to join us if they dare, I suppose. But and I have a question about Jason. Did he join after you then? Or?
No, he actually started his channel a few months before I did, and I mean, and he'd been watching BookTube for a little while. So I would, we live in it's a small house, and so I would overhear all these videos that he was watching on BookTube, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a pretty big deal. This is going to be a pretty big part of our life, and yeah, and so he started his channel, and his channel was doing great. And then in 2020, like, just kind of yeah, like, just didn't really want to read, didn't feel up to making videos, and since then it's just been hard to get back into it. So so I keep hoping, but I've stayed the whole time. I'm sure if he had stayed, his channel would be well past mine. So
Yeah, I mean, he was still doing it. He was certainly still doing it more regularly when I joined than he does now. I think I only see the occasional video, maybe for like
like
maybe
Marching
Midrash or
Mammoths
something
and
like this, or
Cheap
some event. Because I know he was quite in with Lukash from Cruel Reader's Thesis,
yes,
as well,
yeah.
from when I first joined. Yeah. And I think maybe was it Jason Harrigan as well? Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know, is Jason Harrigan on anymore? He keeps changing his channel name
Yeah,
so
he keeps
often
coming and going. So a few people seem to do that, but yeah.
yeah.
We have a couple of questions for you so
Oh,
far.
okay.
Well, Mike's here. He's just saying hello from Durban, South Africa. Michelle asks you, what is your favorite way to find older books?
Well, I don't know how well you can see. Like, let's see. There's one, and it goes all the way to the floor. So I have a lot. I mean, I have we own over 1,000 books, physical copies of books. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of
Do you visit like thrift stores and pick stuff up, or do you generally buy old?
No, like the thrift stores here, the book selection isn't very good. We do have 2 used bookstores with drastically different personalities. I went and looked at one of them yesterday because I was looking for an Anne Bronte novel, and so their classic section is Yeah, is I mean, there's more classics at that particular used bookstore than the other one, but I do pick up books at my parents' house occasionally. Um and then earlier like in I guess it hasn't been that long, August, I was in Seattle and I stayed with Gina from Gina Stand Your Books.
Oh, of course.
And so we went to so many bookstores. It was so wonderful. It was a dream. It was a dream trip. So so I did get quite a few books. Like, she literally had to help me pack my suitcase.
And I'm guessing, I mean, of course, it's kind of it's a question everybody probably once asked, but of course we can guess the answer. I'm guessing she's as lovely in real life as she comes across on.
She is exactly the person that she is on camera. Yeah. She is exactly that. That is her. So
I think she started around a similar time to me, I think, and because it was Michael K. Vaughan, me, I think Gina, Vin from Revenant Reads was like a week or two earlier. So there was like this kind of group that seemed to be at around the same kind of time. I think COVID gave birth to a lot of YouTube channels. So, it's kind of funny. But Randy, I have to say something about your background. Is that new, that copy of Les Miserables from the Penguin Deluxe Classics edition behind you? I've not noticed it before. Yeah.
That is not new.
Oh, okay. But you've not read it.
It's not a new location either.
It's not what?
It is not a new location either. It's been in that spot the entire time we've been doing this show.
I can't believe I haven't noticed it. You've not read it yet, though.
Well, the angle of the camera might be different, but I've read the first 100 pages or so, and I loved it, what I've read of it. But it is not part of my immediate reading future. I have too many plans for my immediate reading future.
Speaking of Les Mis, Mark, this is a book I bought, and it's your fault. The novel of the extraordinary adventure of Les Miserables. So I need to read this.
Very good. It's very good. I have to say, it's very interesting. Yeah. So
I'm very excited. And actually, I'm sorry. There's more questions or comments.
No, go for it. Go on.
Well, I was just gonna say my Les Miserables review is my most viewed BookTube video.
See, that's a good thing.
How many views does it have?
What?
It has how many views?
I can't. Let me check. Let's see here. Keep talking.
My most viewed video on YouTube is how to run a bookstore without going broke. Which you would think it would be a great topic for someone else, since I actually went broke owning a bookstore.
I think,
but it's far and away my most popular video.
I think it's definitely something we'll come back to, because it's part of our regular theme on this when we talk about BookTube and things. And of course, the fact that your most successful video is on a book review, and of course it's on a book that is probably very widely reviewed by lots of people as well. So that says something that yours is doing so well. But have you got the number of views yet, Kelly? Or not?
8.6 thousand.
8.6 thousand.
That's and nice. I gained over 100 subscribers.
Very nice.
It's very good, isn't it? For apparently the fact that book reviews don't do very well. So it's interesting.
A successful video.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll talk.
So Helen says, I'm currently reading an older book, The First Inspector Morse, Some Questionable Attitudes Abounding. It'll be great to see Pat on too. And then I guess Pat was summoned, because she then pops in saying, hello, friends. Game of Authors says, I discovered BookTube through Jason's channel. I was looking up the PBS Great American Read in 2018. And I discovered a video of Jason ranting about it, LOL. And I was hooked.
He rants well.
Then we have Pat saying, loved singing with Gina. Kelly, those videos and pictures were wonderful.
Yeah.
Libra Paradiso's here. Film talk led me to her channel. Latest World War II video was interesting. Add sequel, and as a Wonder Woman comic book reader, a disappointment and waste of Gal Gadot. Seeing you and Gina together was wonderful, Hannah says.
Oh.
I'm just skipping the ones where people are talking to each other, so no offense there to people. Berna says Kelly's videos with Gina were a delight to watch. Pat agrees that Penguin Classic edition of Les Miserables is great. It sure is. It's a miracle any used bookstore thrives on its own. Yes, we conjured you. And then we have words everywhere. 9113. Hello, y'all.
Hi, Mark. Mark used to have just the most incredible channel. I'm so sad that he stopped making videos, but he was a real champion for poetry on BookTube. So yeah, he just had a fantastic channel. Yeah.
Well, I think it says a lot about you, Kelly, that there are quite a few new people in this chat who we haven't seen before, and that they've just come over to see you. So I think that says a lot. So many years passed. They say there. Sorry,
yeah,
it doesn't seem to be coming up.
Mark, I have a
Are
comment.
you guys still there? I don't know if I've cut out.
Mark, I have a comment.
Sorry, it does seem a bit sketchy. The connection. Hopefully it will last. Yeah, many years past, they said.
Mark, I have a comment.
Yes, please.
Someone in the audience suggested that it would be hard to run a used bookstore. I just wanted to point out that my bookstore was not a used bookstore. I carried new books. And one of the mistakes I made was carrying new books. I think a used bookstore is a lot more you'd be a lot likelier to make money with a used bookstore than a new bookstore. Profit margins.
I would think also that probably a big benefit of having, if you have a bookstore of any kind, is if you actually own the building it's in, right? Without any.
That probably would be the rent on the rent on my bookstore was $1,700 a month, and it was a very, very small town, Wiley, Texas. So yeah, $1,700 a month. I never made enough in sales to cover the rent, much less profits. But I had a lot of money, and I'd always wanted to own a bookstore, so I kept the place open for about 3 years. But one of my friends told me that I should have named my bookstore Randy's Folly. That would have been a great name for my bookstore.
It's funny because I don't know if you've seen Sean Stanfast's latest kind of videos he's been doing, which are kind of like, because he also had a bookstore, and he does these memories of, I don't know if it's memories of a bookseller or something like this, and it is quite interesting, to listen to, the trials and tribulations of running your own bookshop, so I think it's something we all dream about, but yeah, it wouldn't be practical, of course.
I might get back to it one of these days. I had a girlfriend not too long ago who was a horror fan, and we thought about opening up a bookstore, coffee shop, art shop, and we were going to call it the Night Gallery, and it was going to be on the square in Denton, Texas, and we were going to carry horror books and artwork towards that audience, and then also coffee. But we've since broke up.
Maybe that's for
I have a question for people in the comments. I'm sorry if I'm speaking over Kelly or Randy, but it does keep freezing on my end. No, I don't know if it's freezing for other people or whether it's coming across fine. I'm not sure.
Kelly and I are still here. We're not freezing, are we, Kelly?
We're not freezing yet. It seems
to be through us. It could happen. It's happened in the past that I've had to completely take over a show before because of the connection problems, which nobody wants that.
No one wants that. Okay, Mark, you're back.
Did I disappear?
Yes.
You did.
See, I can't tell because you disappeared for me, and then later I did. So, but I think it's very, very windy here. So I do apologize. Please, please do carry on. And I apologize also if I talk over you, because occasionally it freezes and I'm not sure what's happening. Only Mark is freezing. Thank you. Thank you. Good to know. All right then. Well, actually, though, in South Africa, it's probably not doing all right. But yeah, it's just your end, Mark. Well, I do apologize, everybody. You are freezing. Kelly and Randy are not. We can see you, Mark, but we can't always hear you. All right. Well, I'll let Randy take over then. Randy, do the talking. You're the host with the most right now.
The host with the most, baby. So, well, okay. So let's ask a question then. Let's talk a little bit about running a YouTube channel, since that's always the theme that I'm interested in talking about here. One of my contentions is that the first way to run a successful BookTube channel is to define what success means to you. And I've seen a lot of people complain, "Oh, I don't get enough subscribers," or "I don't get enough page views." But when you ask them how many page views or subscribers they would be satisfied with, they don't have an answer for that. On the other hand, I see someone like Kelly, who I think feels like her channel is a success. I know I do, but I don't think Kelly's obsessed with numbers. There's not a question in there, but I'm sure Kelly will speak to it.
I think, well, first of all, like we all need to occasionally stop and think about when we first started our channels, right? And like, what were our expectations? They were so low. They were so little. They were tiny. I mean, I was like, if I have 50 subscribers, that'll be a miracle. So, you know, and then suddenly, yeah, like those expectations start to change. Or as you guys have talked about, like, and I'm sure this has happened to both of you, you've encouraged someone to start a BookTube channel, they start it and they just fly by you, right?
Oh yeah.
The next thing you know, they have so many more subscribers. I think subscribers are not as important as, they're not the measure of success to me as views. Oops. We're all like rotating those little dials. Okay. But I do feel like my channel is successful. Mainly because the people watching seem so vested in it. Like my cat recently died, and he had been in some videos. He was in videos more often when he was a younger cat. But towards the end, he did not. He would come in the library and cry and then leave. So he wasn't in very many recent videos. I'll put it that way. But anyway, that when I told people that Blue had died, because he had been on my channel, and Jason's channel. So yeah, like people sent me cards. People sent me homemade cards. People sent me. One person made a donation to their local humane society. And I think that is pretty mind-blowing. I think that is showing like how different our community is from other YouTube communities, if you will. So yeah, I mean, again, like I think we have seen channels that just explode right from the get-go, and there is like that little nagging voice in the back of your head that's like, why, like what am I doing wrong? But instead I think we need to focus more on like what's going well, like what's working. So yeah.
Well, I want to share a personal experience too, and it is related to Kelly. I started my BookTube channel shortly after getting a cancer diagnosis. And I've been pretty open in sharing about my health issues here on the channel. In fact, if you look through my videos, you'll see there are a number of my videos that I've filmed from a hospital bed. because I decided, you know what, I'm not going to stop doing what I like to do just because I'm in the hospital. That way lies madness, I think. But when I first mentioned that I had cancer on the channel, and I think I had at some point, done a GoFundMe because I'd run out of money because I was unable to work for a while. But Kelly sent me the loveliest get well card, the loveliest homemade get well card. And if you want to talk about a definition of success, I would rather have that lovely homemade get well card from Kelly than an extra 1,000 subscribers. Easy. What is important?
Sweet.
Well, and it does. It leads you to think what is important, and that is the difference between BookTube and a lot of other communities. And there is a segment of YouTube. I feel like there's a dividing line. There's our little corner of BookTube where you've got the people with 2,000, 3,000 subscribers or less who are just here to talk books, and they're perfectly happy with that. Then you got the other side where you've got your Ben McAvoys and your who's the little British guy, Jack Edwards, where they've got so many comments and so many followers, they'd have to hire someone to keep up with their comment section. So there seems to be a dividing line between styles there. I don't aspire to be Jack Edwards, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind being Criminale for a little while either.
Well, it would be interesting to know what that's like, I think, but yeah. I don't know that I wouldn't want to. It would be very sad not to be able to respond to comments. Mark, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I can't remember, but the thing I was going to say in relation to this is I think you would lose a sense of your community surely when you get to like Criminale's size. It's like my own positive experience was last year and again this year so far, where I teach at a small village school, and they don't have huge budgets and stuff, but the kids are pretty good at English. And last year, a lot of people donated money for me to buy books for an English library. I hope you can still hear me. I don't know, you guys are frozen for me, so
yes, you're fine.
Gosh, this is frustrating. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So they
you hear us.
Oh, I couldn't before. That's why I didn't know.
Oh,
can you hear me now? Golly whiz. Well, okay, I'll take over again then. Kelly, last night you and I had a very brief discussion about how every booktuber runs their channel somewhat differently than every other booktuber.
Now you're frozen, Randy. I'm all alone.
No way. Look, I'm swaying back and forth. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Is Mark
you can hear me now? Mark's
so sorry,
back.
Kelly. I'm not back.
It's okay. This happens.
Oh. Wow, this is exciting.
The English
Mark,
library.
I was leading up to a question, but we'll let Kelly choose which question she wants to hear first.
I want Mark to share about the English library, and then
I was just saying it was so lovely because so many people donated the first time around, and so far, because I only put it out last week, so far as well, people have as well, and it's such a wonderful thing because and this time around they've been so kind. Like I'm surprised people literally just not throw away, but give away $50 or $100 and say, oh, just buy whatever the kids want. And it's such a nice thing that they don't know me, they don't know that I'm not going to steal it, I suppose. Really, I guess the thing is, of course, I do put it on the channel, when I unbox it and show the library off and whatever. But, it's just so nice, the kindness of strangers who are kind of through this community no longer strangers. But I will get to the comments before I cut off again. Okay. Where were we? Let me see. Yeah. I would love to work in a bookshop, not even to own it, just to work in one. Dream job. Used books would be more interesting. And then another question for you, Kelly. Have you or will you do a bookshelf review?
Oh, that's actually a good question. So it's not just my library. It's also Jason's library. It's our library. So there would be a lot of shelves where I would kind of have to pick and I would have to be like, okay, so let me pull forward the books that are my books or books that both of us, because there's tons of stuff that I don't know how well you can see the top. Oh, you probably can't. the top shelf.
Maybe we
There
can.
we go.
I do
Okay.
that maybe.
The top shelf of this bookcase is almost entirely Philip Roth and Salman Rushdie, and so there's very few books on this shelf that I would want to read. But if I heard from a lot of people asking for that, I would definitely consider it.
Have you ever done that on your channel where you where you read Jason's pick for you and he reads your pick for him? No. Oh, could be kind of fun. Maybe more for him than for you, maybe. I don't know.
I don't want him deciding what my TBR is. It's going to be one of those books right there.
I actually found a Philip Roth behind me today called, because I was wondering if it would fit in with Dr. November. It's called I Married a Communist.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I have that one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we own that.
But that'd be good. Yeah, bookshelf tour would be kind of cool. Pat would also like to work in a bookshop. Well, I guess you could, Pat. I mean, you are retired, I think. You know, go and do it.
I have worked in a bookshop. I worked for Barnes and Noble. It sounds greater than it actually is. So
you make more money working there than you will owning it. I can promise you that.
Definitely.
I guess this is related to something I probably didn't hear, which was the night gallery idea is wonderful. Mark's disappearing. McMurtry, here we go. Here you go. It's a good one for you, Randy. McMurtry raided used bookstores to stack his in Archer City. He bought a first edition copy of Nabokov's Eugene Onegin by Pushkin from an Austin shop I frequented in the 90s. Never forgave him.
He was a regular here in Denton, Texas at Recycled Books and Records too, which is a legendary used bookstore.
Then we have
they have over 500,000 titles in stock.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's in an old opera house. It's about 4 stories.
Mike says, I would love Kelly to talk about the early years of her channel, the missteps and learnings for us newbies. Well, that's put you on the spot, hasn't it?
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, are there more comments?
There are, so we can just go through anything and then circle back around to that. I think lots of those people would be unhappy with a large number of subscribers too. That comes with different problems. I think that's correct. If you don't do it for the sake of enjoyment, you can always find problems. Kelly has a wonderfully engaged audience. Even within BookTube, this community is different one from the BookTube community with a bigger subscriber count. I think that's fair. The comic book community apparently is quite generous as well. Presently, many comic channels are doing their annual Stop Cancer fundraiser. People donate comics, some very expensive ones, for the cause. That's really nice.
That is cool.
Exactly, Randy. LOL, the little British guy. Oh, yeah. Sorry. For a second, I thought you meant me. But you mean that Jack Edwards, right?
Yes, the little British guy. Steve Donahue and I have a nickname for him, but I can't remember. But it has the word demon in it somewhere. Demon Smurf of BookTube or something.
We're almost at the end. With a very few exceptions, I think BookTube community is wonderful. Criminali is one of the few big channels where he takes the time to answer comments. Channels that don't do that don't deserve my time. I agree, but of course, the funny thing with Criminali, when you really look at it, is he's not actually very big. He's just big comparatively, but like on YouTube big standards, right, he's still quite small. So it's a funny thing because I think he's in that halfway point where it's not worth his while to like make it his job, and he has to put a lot more time into it than he'll get back from it. I think in terms of any at least financial reward, at least. But that's
he's making significant money from his channel.
Well,
I think he's a. He and I have discussed. He's straddling the line between the big booktubers that we were talking about and the small ones that are really involved in their communities. He's really interesting in that way.
I'd be surprised if he makes more than a few £100 a month from it, unless it's from other things. But I'm talking about only specifically YouTube, because it's just that way, isn't it? I mean,
Right.
I'm still working on getting him as a guest, so we'll discuss his revenue when we get him on the air to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sure he won't want to talk about his finances related to YouTube, but it's just, I mean, it's just a guess, of course. But I think, you know, again, it comes down to the views. I don't know. I mean, his views tend to do pretty well, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think it wouldn't be enough to do it as a full-time job, I'm sure. You know,
I do have a question for Kelly when you finish the comments too.
Yeah, I'm almost finished these. Actually, there's quite a few. Hang on. We'll come back to Mike's question in a second. As a viewer, I sometimes watch bigger channels if I want something more like a lecture or a podcast, but I watch smaller channels because it's like sitting with a friend. Oh, that's a really lovely thing to say.
I love that.
Very diplomatic. Thanks, Mark.
Mark left us again?
No, oh well, yeah, but I was referring to.
I like the way we both started swinging back and forth earlier to see if we were online.
This is so frustrating. I'm so sorry.
Oh, we have 3 marks. Okay. Oh, all right.
Am I back? Am I here? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
All right. That's all right then.
There
okay.
you go. There you go. Now you're back.
So Summer's here. Salutations.
Hi,
kind of funny.
Summer.
Bad. Berna says the community here is so kind and caring. My friends are sometimes jealous in a good way when I talk about my BookTube friends. Oh no, I missed the first 40 minutes. I hope you're all doing well. Kelly is a famous icon, so humble.
An icon. I think that might be stretching a little bit. Thank you.
If someone has YouTube Premium, does that affect you as creators? Are you losing ad revenue? No, because you get money. I don't know if it's the same worked out. Probably not. It might be less, but you do still get money from YouTube Premium fees.
Not very much.
Carmen is here. Not very much indeed. Carmen's joining late. Hi everyone. Right. So missteps in the early days, and then I can shut up, and it doesn't matter if I disappear again.
Okay. So, okay, you can look at it a couple different ways. So, when you're a small booktuber, and in some ways, I still feel like I am a small booktuber. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. Mark's frozen, but I can hear you, Mark.
Okay.
Anyway, so, like when you're a small booktuber, you can experiment and you can try different things in a way that when you've sort of established the kind of videos that you're going to make, like it changes, I guess, over time. So I will say there are certain books that are so beloved on BookTube, and I made it was a bad review. Okay, like it was a bad review, but I did a review of Middlemarch, and people on BookTube really love that book. I don't. I don't love that. So anyway, and then a big booktuber, like whose intentions were not. Her intentions were good. She mentioned my review. Like it was the first time I'd ever been mentioned by a really big channel. And anyway, the Middlemarch fans came to my channel not to subscribe, but to tell me how they felt about Middlemarch. And so yeah, so that was really intense. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot from it, and eventually that's the only video since 2018 that I've actually made private. Like you can't see it anymore. So but I have learned a lot about book reviews, and I've also learned a lot about like the sacred cows on BookTube. You know, things like I don't particularly enjoy, but other people do, and that's fine. Like it would be so boring if we all liked the same things, right?
Right.
Definitely.
So anyway, that was kind of a misstep. There were other videos that I made that I think if I made those videos now, it would be very different. The response would be different, you know, it would reach more people, but I mean, it is what it is. So, you know, but yeah, I've learned a lot of things on BookTube the hard way, unfortunately. So what about you guys? What do you feel about the start of your channel? Are there any missteps that we can all learn from?
Randy?
Yeah, I haven't made a mistake on my channel yet.
Okay,
I take that back. I did make the mistake of thinking that everything had to be perfect before launching, so I didn't launch as soon as I could have. I'm trying to take a better attitude towards people in general and assume better motives, but it's hard for me because I'm by nature really sensitive to criticism. So a while back, I had someone in the comments mention that I sit too close to the camera. And I got very angry, and I was like, well, that son of a bitch. Oh, if I was he'd never dream of saying that to me in the same room. I'm 6'3" and 500 pounds, and I'll show it. But anyway, I thought about it for a couple of days, and then I was like, wait a minute, I do sit too close to the camera. He just really helped me improve my channel dramatically with his comment. I should be thanking him instead of angry with him. So yeah, these are mistakes that I make consistently, though, that I'm working on because I'm trying to become a better person, you know, and launching sooner, even though my product wouldn't have been as close to perfect, you know, I've got the Patreon that I announced 6 months ago that I said would be live in 2 weeks. It's still not live. You know, these are examples of mistakes that I've made. After Mark talks about his missteps, I'd like to come back to that question that I've been asking to ask too.
I know it sounds awful. I can't think of any. Apart from obviously just well, no, I mean apart from missteps in maybe misjudging certain videos that I put out, or you know, maybe regretting putting out some things instead of others. But then sometimes those missteps actually led to an increase in growth to my channel. So there was a positive aspect that came out of it. I can't think of anything. I guess I'm not fussed. I think that I do take a certain comfort in being a smaller booktuber by the fact that I know, okay, if I have 2,500 subscribers, it's great, but 2,500 people are not watching my videos every time. And I know it's roughly 100, 200, maybe more sometimes. So I feel like I can probably get away with more than I could if I was Criminoli, for example. Totally. Like, you know, take more chances, maybe be a bit more controversial, because I do have big problems with some things. Like, you know, I had to bite my tongue with Helen's comment earlier about you know, reading an old Dr. Morse, so there being problematic things in it. Well, obviously, you know, it's 40 years ago, right? There are going to be things in it, and I don't like, you know, I'm a very generally politically a left-leaning person, but I hate wokery. I hate doing things for the sake of doing it. You know, I really, really get frustrated. So I'm very quick to sometimes make a video about it. You know, like, oh, you know, they've gone and censored James Bond. How dare they? Blah blah blah. And then, you know, sometimes it comes back to bite me. But as I say, usually, you know, enough people are not watching it for it to really make a big difference or to be a negative. So I think, yeah, there are missteps in that respect or misjudgments, but you know, I think generally people who watch me, I would hope, think that I'm a decent enough person in reality as well, so that anything I might say that might sound bad is just a mistake rather than, you know, done for any kind of nefarious or mean purposes. So anyway, Randy, your question before I go to the back to the comments.
Mark's channel is sublime, by the way. If you're not subscribing to Mark's channel, you should. It is absolutely a dream.
Back at you, Randy.
The question that I had for Kelly, we discussed briefly last night how everybody does things a little bit differently on BookTube than everybody else. And you know, I think everybody also measures their success differently than everyone else. But the question I have for Kelly is, how do you see, what's the secret sauce between books I'm not reading? You know, how do you run your channel differently from other booktubers?
Let's see. I I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I mean, I can give my opinions as a viewer how you're different, but it's more interesting to see how much of it's intentional on your part.
Well, I'd actually like to ask Kelly this kind of like on top of your question, because I think it's important a little bit, is that I am shamefully a booktuber who's not a big booktube viewer these days. I was when I first started because COVID was on, and then I find that I barely have enough time to read and make my own videos, that I have dropped away. I mean, I'm sure Kelly notices I don't comment as much. I mean, I do try when there's something that, and sometimes things do get lost, like in the, you know, I don't know how the algorithm does work, because I am subscribed, but I don't see every time you put out a video. Or even Randy, sometimes I don't see every time. So I'm not a great viewer. So for me, I would have to say that would be a difficult question to answer. And I don't know, Kelly, you know, just because I think it's understandable if you don't watch as much as people feel you should, but I'm just curious if you do. And I think that leads into Randy's question.
So yeah, those are like really fantastic questions. I actually love making videos more than I enjoy watching them. So and that's there's a few channels out there that yes, every single time they post a video, I'm at least gonna, like, you know, I might jump on and just see what it's about, that kind of thing. I actually enjoy watching small booktube channels a lot because again, they're, you know, when you only have, you know, 200 subscribers or whatever, like you're doing a lot of different things. One of the things I think Randy maybe is alluding to is that I was trying to figure out a way to get people to engage more on my channel. And so instead of saying like, comment, and subscribe, my kind of repeated phrase, aside from my tagline at the very end, is that, you know, if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, leave an emoji. It's so much faster. It's so much easier for some people. And I think I have a lot of people who don't have channels who are older. And so the idea of leaving a comment on my videos might be scary. Like they might feel uncomfortable. Like, oh, I don't want to share all this like personal information or something, like, you know, which of course I wouldn't know, but maybe they're not as familiar with BookTube or YouTube and how that works. So I encourage people to either leave an emoji or give my video a thumbs up. And I will say that, and one of the things that is hard, and I'm sure you both have experienced this on BookTube, is to say certain things like, hey, I would love it if you went to, you know, I'd love it if you donated it to the English library, or I would love it if you would join my Patreon, or I would love it if you would go to my Ko-fi page and help me reach my goal, which I would love that if anyone wants to. But yeah, so I have found like it's a little, I feel a little uncomfortable like encouraging people to like give me a thumbs up, but over time that has definitely, I have way more thumbs up. Like when I look back, that's definitely something I've learned along the way. Like you have to invite people to do those sorts of things. And I think sometimes too, some videos people don't have anything to say, you know, like we don't have like something profound to put in the comment section. So even just leaving an emoji is kind of a sign of like, I'm here. And I, you know, like I'm still here, I'm still around, but like I'm just putting this butterfly in.
Yeah, I think that's good point.
So, anyway, so that's some of the things that are different about maybe different from how I run my channel. And again, I obviously, you know, I have have more than 3,000 subscribers, but they're not, you know, I would be great if they were all watching, but they're not. And so to me, like, inviting people to subscribe is not as important, because if they don't watch my videos, it doesn't make any difference.
I think those are some great points. I mean, I have to say, with regards to the I didn't have any qualms really about asking people to give to the English library, because the first one went so well, and actually a few people said I should do it again, you know, and I thought, you know, I might as well. I mean, the response this time hasn't been as great as it was last time, but I understand that, because it's not, because, you know, I work in academic years, so I thought it was like 2 years ago, when really it was actually last January, but it feels to my head like a long time ago. Like it was January 24. So it's almost 2 years ago, I guess. But, you know, I didn't feel so bad about that. But you're right. I do get nervous. I very rarely ask people to join Patreon. And I've only just, I think in the last video that I made that's coming out tomorrow, I do say at the end, you know, and, you know, if you'd like to like and subscribe, you know, it means a lot. Thank you very much. But you can tell I'm uncomfortable saying it, you know. Yeah, but they're good points. You're right. I mean, subscribers mean nothing if people aren't watching your videos. You know, because and I think leaving the emoji is a wonderful thing too, because I think we all crave some kind of I don't know, recognition is probably the wrong word, but that interaction, so we know that, you know, people are out there. It's sometimes very frustrating when you have, I don't know, maybe 1,000 views but 20 comments, and you think, well, does that mean they like it or don't like it? And then I would be worried too, because like sometimes people might be of the opinion that if I've got nothing nice to say, I won't say anything. So if I start pushing it, I might end up with a lot more dislikes. But yeah, I know you're pushed for time, Kelly, but we do have a couple more comments. So I do want to address Helen's thing, because Helen, I was also joking. Don't worry, I wasn't really having a go at you. It's just that you said something that certainly fits into things that sometimes rile me up. I prefer, where are we? Am I right? Yeah. That's the thing about BookTube, is people showing opinions, but some people don't like it. Summer didn't think Middlemarch was that special.
Thanks, Summer.
Middlemarch and Pride and Prejudice, I've noticed, provoke interesting reactions. If one doesn't like them or hasn't read them, it's pretty funny. Yeah, I think that's true. I remember Kelly posting her first video and Jason asking me to go and watch it. Which is nice.
But
I recommend the BBC miniseries from the 90s. This is Middlemarch, I think.
Yeah.
I dislike when on BookTube. I think actually this might apply to all three of us, actually, but not in a negative way. It's the real mighty of. I dislike when people on BookTube pile on a topic such as overconsumption, but they all have the same view, and it seems disingenuous just for views, in my opinion. Now, all three of us, whether we had that motivation or not, did do that recently. We did comment on Shelley Swearingen's. All three of us made a Shelley Swearingen response video, and not just us, of course, other people did too. And I think there is some element of truth, in my opinion, that it is topical, and it is a way for our smaller channels to kind of just grab maybe a couple more people here and there, maybe. But it's not just why we do it. I mean, I can certainly say for myself, I do think when I always stress about setting your own expectations and things like that with regards to BookTube, because actually starting a BookTube channel video is my most popular video. I think it's got over 10,500 views, and it's just encouraging people to do that. And I think that's something I very much kind of want to champion people doing. But I think if you want to get that message across and grab some extra subscribers and viewers, then sometimes it is good to jump on that bandwagon. What do you think?
I mean, I think there are things sometimes where, and this might not be a response video. It might be just a video that you make where you kind of like touch a nerve in the community, and it may not be in a bad way, but that creates, you know, all of these different response videos. And I mean, I didn't I didn't watch all of the other response videos. I was just trying to. Oops. Oh dear.
I'm here.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sorry. I was just trying to find when I made that video, and I don't make very many response videos. I have a playlist of response videos. I don't know why. It's got like 3 videos on it. So, but you know, I was trying to like that. The reason why people leave BookTube, like we do talk about that a lot in our community. We talk about that so much. And so I was trying to find a way, like, how can I take this idea and spin it into something like, why do we stay? Right? Like we spend so much time and energy, and like I know Mark, you will recognize this. Like, you spend so much time on a video and you make 13 cents on it, and you're like, wait a second, what is, but that's not why we do it, right? So and Gina actually made a video that was about starting your own BookTube channel, and how like, yeah, like you don't have to spend a lot of time. It's us, right? Like we're the ones who want perfection, right, Randy? Like we're the ones who decide how much time to invest or not. I've seen you guys talk about thumbnails before, which I'm still like back and forth on whether that matters or not. But yeah, so I understand like if you were a viewer of BookTube and your whole feed is just people responding to someone else's video, that might not be very enjoyable. And especially if we were all saying the same things, which I don't know. We were all saying them slightly differently, maybe. But
I think we all had a positive spin on it, but slightly different. But I know no one can hear me now anyway, so I'm just
we can hear you.
Oh, you can? Okay. That's a good thing I didn't say anything bad. Look, I'm gonna finish off these comments.
We're at the top of the hour.
Sorry?
I said we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish off the comments and then I will round it up, because as I say, I know Kelly's got to go, I've got to go too, and Randy, you look like you want to take a nap, so
Sorry,
it's all right, buddy. It's all right. We know.
It's the medication.
It's okay.
The emoji thing does make me engage a lot more than I otherwise would. I'm always a silent viewer. Well, then I'm honored that you're commenting, Claire. But I'm in awe of how many videos you all make, and brilliant ones too. That's very kind of you.
Claire,
for sure.
wow, thank you so much, Claire.
It's an easy way to say, "Hey, Kelly, I watched and liked this," without having to think too much about what to write as a comment. I think that's true. I'm surprised they don't have because we have the AI responses now. I'm surprised they don't have a set of like AI comments you could just put in. Great video. Whatever. Pat says, speaking of giving a thumbs up, please make sure to give this live stream a thumbs up now. That's very kind of you, Pat. Thank you. I'm more reluctant to give a thumbs up if asked to do it. Most of the time I do it anyway if I'm subscribed to the channel. Well, that's I kind of understand that, actually. I can be a bit like that too. Big fan of leaving an emoji, Claire says. Mike affirmation, exactly. Raf Bluxtat is here. LOLO, what's all this then? More the ones where people take a moral high ground and dogpile on others is what I don't like. I like topic. Oh, okay, right.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I think response videos are fine as long as the views expressed are genuine. Your viewers will want to know what you think. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Well, I don't know. Have either of you anything else you'd like to say? Because it is past the top of the hour, and I know people probably have plans on a Sunday.
I just want to thank Kelly again for doing this, because she's been just as terrific a guest as I had hoped she would be.
Aww,
if you've ever watched her channel, you're not surprised that she was a great guest too.
Well, I'm rather hoping you'll come back and we won't have such interruptions next time.
I would love to come back. I would love to. And yeah, I think I'm glad to hear Pat's coming on your a future video. That'll be really cool. But this is only the second time that anyone's invited me to be on kind of a streaming thing. So I'm just really, yeah.
Well, I think we can probably give you an open invitation, Kelly. So
Okay,
you're very welcome anytime.
I will definitely keep that in mind. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and thanks to everyone in the comments.
I do have one last question though before you leave.
Who watched? I do. Yeah, I recognize a lot of people there, so that is very exciting.
One last question before we sign off, because you mentioned you post every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Today is Sunday. Have you posted yet, or do you plan to later?
So I was gonna post a Halloween tag, but I do know that not everyone who watches my channel is really crazy about Halloween, and posting it on a Sunday, I don't know. So I have to finish Oliver Twist, because Berna, who's watching, I'm reading this with her and she's already done. So once I finish Oliver Twist, I might make a video for maybe I'll go off a bit and post it on Monday, so that if people want to do it on Tuesday or if people want to do it on Halloween, like, that's fine. But yeah, so I figured this will be my video for Sunday. So
wonderful. And just one last comment to end with. There's a few here saying, love to you all, which is very kind. Fantastic show, guys. And Kelly, thank you so much. Book chat with Pat. But the real highlight, of course, for Randy is Libro Paradisa saying, looking forward to a Manchurian Candidate tonight with Randy and James. It isn't Bring It On, but it's not a bad flick. And I have to say, I am a big fan of Bring It On myself as well. Love it.
That's actually going to be next Sunday.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
James and I are doing a bi-weekly schedule with our Cinephile Sundays.
Okay. So it's next week then. Super.
Yeah, and we will be discussing The Manchurian Candidate starring Frank Sinatra.
Very cool.
Well, thank you, of course, to Randy, as always, for joining me as my co-host. But huge thanks to Kelly for being an absolutely fantastic guest. We've really enjoyed having you on. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Do take care.
Right, you too. Thank you so much.
Cheerio.
Bye, everybody.
Cheerio.
Bye.